Hello, today we're going to do a training on buyer's agency agreement. So let's do it. So we are going to go to our dashboard. Once again, we will click on Instanet Solutions. From this screen, we will always go to Transactions, and we're going to create a new transaction. Let's name this the customer's name. Transaction type, he will be a buyer. And I am going to be the selling agent. From this form, we just work our way across the top like everything. So the first thing we're going to do is we will do contacts. You'll see that I'm in there. We're going to add a new transaction contact. And we're going to add a buyer. Buyer's name will be David. His last name is Bryce. You can add the rest, but in this case, I'm just going to use that. I will put his email in here. And we will add to contacts. So if we need them in another area, we can save. Let's add another contact. We'll add his wife. And her name is Karen. And we'll add her to contacts and save. So now you can see we have the two buyers and ourselves. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to forms. We're going to add new forms right here. And we'll pick from individual forms. This will be other forms. Buyer's agency agreement. We will add that. And then disclosure, we're going to have to do a disclosure RE relationships for buyers and sellers. So this one as well. From this form, this is where we can actually go in and fill these out. So we're going to pick the first. And you're going to see that the names are filled out. Purpose of this is for residential. Term of this agency agreement shall begin tomorrow and shall end midnight in 6 months. So we're going to go April, May, June, July, August, September, October. And 60 days. We'll check this in AuthentiSign or when we sign in person. It'll be $0 or 3%. And that's it for that. So now we just hit File, File Save, File Exit. Now we go to the disclosure, which you should be very familiar with this document. As you see, it'll fill out the top stuff. We're representing the buyer. as the buyer's agent, and buyers here. And then file, save, file, exit. So we have two options here. First off, if we wanted to, we could email this to them for Authentisign, which I will show you how to do just so you can see how that works. But before I do that, I'm actually going to print these because I'm actually going to bring these tomorrow to my meeting with them. So in this case, I'm going to show you how to print. So you go to File, or you click on the file again. And then from here, you can go to File, Print. It will open up a new PDF, as you see here. Mac is a little funny because you have to download it. So I download it, and then I'll open it up one more time, as you can see here. Oops. Have that same thing open here. There we go. There it is. So that now it's in a PDF. At this point, we can hit print. We'll pick the printer, and that one is printing. And we'll do the same scenario for the other document. So file, exit. File, print. You'll see that I have this one now as well, so then I can hit print on there and print. Okay, so let's say we actually were going to Authentisign this. What we would do next is we would just click Authentisign. Once again, Authentisign is only used for signings. So in this case, we're going to hit New, Create using a transaction. We're going to use the transaction we just created. And we're going to go to the David Bryce transaction. You'll see that the signing name is David Bryce. Call this sample. Oops, that's fine. And then we're always going to sign in line. We'll pick the participants, and we're going to do that from the transaction. We're going to pick David. We can pick ourselves as well. Now, whenever you pick yourself, you're going to see it goes as a reviewer. Always make sure you come over here as a remote signer. And then we'll pick Karen as well as a remote signer. So let me hit. Now, Karen didn't have an email address, so we would have to end up sending it to her or to David again for her to sign. I'll show you how to do that. So you can see that there's a hand here. That means there's something wrong with that. So let's pick the I button there, and it will show us what's missing. And in this case, you can see our email's missing. So what we'll do is we'll add David's email in there. And they'll get two separate emails. The first email will be for David to sign, and the second email will be for Karen to sign. dbryce33@aol.com. And then we just save. And now you see that's fixed. Now if we want to change the order, which we do, we want to put David first, we'll put Karen second, and then we'll put ourselves last. Now we can add the documents. We're going to do that the same thing from the forms and documents of the transaction. So we're going to pick the two forms that we set up. And you can change the order at this time. This comes up sometimes. You know, you can take a look just to make sure that these are in line. Buyer 1 and Buyer 2, which is correct. And then selling agent is me, that's correct as well. So we hit save If you want to change order this, in this case, not a big deal, but when you're working with contracts and stuff, you usually want to move things around. You just click that, and it will allow you to move those things around. Then we go into our final step, which is the design step. Typically, I'll add initials here if we're representing the uh, buyer or the seller. So in this case, we're representing the buyer. So I would come in here and you see David selected. We're going to do a drag and drop initial here. And then I'm going to pick also Karen and do another initial here. And then I'll pull these over kind of close to where the buyer's agent is, so they can see that that's what they're initialing. As we come down here, you're going to see all this is filled in from where we filled it in before. It pre-fills in this stuff, which is very nice as well for us. So everything is filled out on that form except for the initial lines. Here, remember we had to add a checkbox here. This isn't circled or checked, so we would want to go to markup, pick the text, and as you can see, you just double click on here and we can add an X. And the rest of the stuff should be all filled out. You can see I also will be here. And if you want, we can we're done. So at this point, all we have to do is hit this arrow right here. Once we hit this arrow, it will send these for signature. In this case, we're not going to do that because we are not going to send this to them. So, but that's it. That's how quick and easy that would be. And hopefully you found this tutorial to be helpful, and many more to come. Take care.